Hey there, my name's Billy. I'm starting a YouTube channel of all things. My girl has been in my ear about this for a number of years now, and I've always kind of fancied myself as the kind of person who likes to stay up to date on what's going on in the world these days. There's a lot going on, a lot happening. I've been fortunate enough to have much of my free time restored. I'm not trading my time for money so much these days for the last 10 years or so. So I've had a lot of extra time to research and kind of apply my energy and knowledge to finding out more about this time that we're going through. And I'm saying like humanity traveling through what's known as the Great Awakening. And the Great Awakening is kind of a played out term, I get it. But it's a great description for what's happening in the world right now. Great Awakening to me is kind of like a bicycle wheel where it's got a lot of different spokes, and together all of the spokes make the strength of the wheel and make it whole and durable. Focusing on everything that's happening in the world right now is a tough thing to do because we're being rapid fired. I mean, the information is coming at us at an alarmingly fast rate, and it's a lot to take in. And then, of course, you sprinkle in all of the misinformation that's going on. It makes it that much harder to digest what's real, what's not, or to determine what's real, what's not. So anyway, I think I have my finger on the pulse. I am able to see what's going on here in maybe a way that so many don't yet. Conversations I was having back in 2016 when I first got the bug, and many will call it a spiritual awakening. It's really what it is. It's an awakening to the world we live in is maybe not exactly like what we were told in so many different ways. We're going to need a lot of videos to talk about that. When you awaken to the fact that the world is very different than what we were told it was and that we hoped it was, it can leave you kind of feeling a little dejected, a little bummed out, which is understandable because, there's been a lot of rotten things happen to humanity that really didn't need to happen. So anyway, my goal with this channel is to try to raise awareness and try to point out maybe the things that we should focus on versus the things that we shouldn't. And, I'm guilty of this, especially over the last 10 years. I've been watching what has been happening in the political scene here in the United States. It's pardon my French, but you're going to hear some curse words on this channel. It's been a little bit of a shit show. And, living in the middle of upside down world is a little exhausting. And globally too, we're watching this happen across the world. Governments are being called out and people are rising up, and a lot of governments have already had extensive purges, and a lot of governments are in the middle of it right now. I think that's where the United States is. So long story short, there's good in this. The Great Awakening isn't all just exposing corruption. The Great Awakening is got so many things that are good for humanity. And it's a little easy to get caught up in all the bad stuff because mainstream media and social media, unfortunately, is heavily focused on the divisive, angering, upsetting stuff. And that's by design. That's the divide and conquer game working its magic. So to focus on the ugly stuff that's going on right now, even though I believe it's going to lead to a lot of good things happening, focusing too much on the bad stuff is going to have a negative impact on your vibration. It's going to bum you out a little bit. It's hard to see all this stuff, all this arguing, all of this crime, all this corruption. It's hard to see that happen and not be upset about it. It's the natural human response to finding out that we've been played and we've been taken advantage of. And that's a nice way to say it. I think the important part is to realize that everything that happens in the universe is got a balance to it. And so while there is a truckload of corruption that, we're all becoming aware of here little by little, there's just as many good things that are happening. And that's that balance. So one of my favorite people, who isn't doing his company Fresh and Alive anymore, but His name was Ken Rolla, Rohla. But Ken Rolla had once said in a lecture I watched that as soon as a problem comes into existence, immediately a solution has to exist as well. And so we're left with the choice of focusing on bad things or focusing on the good things. Now, focusing on the good things doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge the bad things that are happening. I'm aware of them. I know probably more than I want to know about all the bad things that have been happening. But once you know that, it's time to start focusing on all of the good that's going to come out of this Great Awakening, because to focus on corruption and crime and all of this stuff that's going on in the mainstream media, it's one thing, and people need to know about it, but they shouldn't invest too much of their time and energy focusing on it. At the end of this whole thing, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off, right? Like, it sucks in the process of leading up to ripping it off, and the actual action of ripping it, it all sucks. It's true. But after it's off, things get really good for humanity. And we do start getting a lot of things that were kept from us, and we do start to understand the life that we're living in a way that was never told to us before, and that's the exciting part. So my goal with this channel is to try to cherry pick, for lack of a better term, but to see what's going on in the world and cherry pick out the parts that we should focus on in an effort to keep our vibe high, which will make it to where when your vibe is high, you will experience a higher quality interaction with other people, higher quality experiences will be drawn into your life. It sounds woo-woo. It is definitely tied to the law of attraction, or they call it law of correspondence. But the universe is like a mirror that is mirroring what we think and what we say and how we feel. What we're choosing to look at determines all of that, right? So if we focus on the good things that are coming, more good things will come. If we focus on the shit show, we're going to be bummed out and frantic and upset and angry and fighting with our neighbors and fighting with loved ones and fighting with friends and family. And it's just, it's how we stay divided. It's how we stay easy to control. So I don't want to ramble on too much. I'm going to try to keep videos on the shorter side. I'm going to do a lot of shorts and share little tidbits that I think are the gems out there. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of information being circulated on social media. I'm on there. Basically, when I see stuff that I think is really important for humans to know about and to understand, especially when they're things that were so different than what we were taught about growing up, my goal is to try to hand over on a silver platter fresh perspectives, maybe constructive ways to look at things that are happening in the world right now, to where they don't make you feel angry or feel like punching somebody or resisting, some nonsense. Humanity is getting its sovereignty back is the important part of this whole thing. And so I want to help. I want to help elevate as many people as I can. I want to make people aware of crypto. I think that it's the average Joe's first opportunity in a really, really long time to stack our pennies next to Wall Street's dollars and create some generational wealth. We have an opportunity of multiple generations happening right now, and most people are so busy working full-time or working second and third jobs, just trying to survive. Everything's crazy expensive. Everything's chaotic. Everything seems kind of wild right now, and most people don't have time to look for this kind of information. And so I do, and I have for the last decade plus. So I want to share as much as I can, and hopefully it helps people out, that it'll help you make sense of what's going on in a way that, isn't as common in the circles that we all run in. So let's give it a shot and see how it goes. Thank you for being here, a part of this journey, and I promise I'll keep really good, pertinent content coming your way, and we'll only talk about stuff that is of use and of value in our evolutionary process, and maybe help understand the world a little bit better. it's a confusing time out there right now, and more people like us that know need to step up and do what we can to help guide everyone else that's kind of like, what the fuck is going on? That's more or less why I'm here, to act like a lighthouse. The spiritual community will say light worker. And I would agree with that those of us that know need to show those of us that don't what's going on here and what we can do to better live this life that we have. And so let's get into it.